Throughout the military campaigns of World War II, more than 100 U.S. servicemen and civilians served as combat artists. They depicted triumphs and tragedy in every theater of the war as they experienced it firsthand. Combat artists played an important role in the documentation and interpretation of the war experience. Artists were sent by every branch of the U.S. military to document the war effort. The War Department Art Advisory Committee was formed to select artists to be sent to the various fronts. The committee included the director of the Metropolitan Museum of Art, the author John Steinbeck, and several noted artists. The selected artists were sent a letter outlining their mission. Any subject matter is in order if you feel that it is part of the war. Try to omit nothing. The nobility, courage, cowardice, cruelty, and boredom of war. Express, if you can, realistically or symbolically, the essence and spirit of war. The combat artists often produce their work under extreme conditions. The interpretations of what they witnessed and lived through gave the artist advantages over the combat photographer. While the photographer must snap his picture as it happens, the artist is able to capture the mood of the moment and recreate it. Soon after the U.S. entered the war, the Army founded Yank magazine, featuring Army coverage, news from home, and glamour pinups. The magazine was widely read by more than 10 million GIs overseas. To cover the war, Yank staff artists were often paired with a writer, with the artist supplying illustrations for the writer's story. On the home front, artists were also commissioned to document the war. In its original prospectus, Life magazine stated the intention of sending staff artists to make drawings of stories which cannot be satisfactorily photographed. When Congress cut the funding of the Army art program, Life magazine offered to employ all of the civilian artists in the program. Although they were not enlisted, the Life artists risked their lives on battlefields around the world. By the end of the war, Life magazine had commissioned over 1,000 paintings and sketches from artists such as Byron Thomas and Peter Hurd. The combat artist continues to serve an important role in the interpretation of war. Since World War II, artists have been embedded in every major U.S. military campaign. As we begin the 21st century, the combat artist continues to combine into a single composition the elements and experience to tell the complete story of war. Following the attack on Pearl Harbor, the United States found itself drawn into World War II. As the opening stages of the war progressed, the need arose to document the war experience for the American home front. At the age of 38, artist Peter Hurd received a telegram from Life magazine offering him a commission to paint and sketch the war from a first-hand point of view. His assignments for Life magazine would transport him from the pastoral setting of his New Mexico ranch to the harsh reality of war. Hurd's wartime sketches embody the spirit and emotion of World War II, from the air campaigns over Europe to the remote islands of the South Pacific. Hurd documented the war with an artist's perspective. Born Harold Hurd Jr. in Roswell, New Mexico on February 22, 1904. He was soon given the nickname Pete by his parents. Having served during the Spanish-American War and the Mexican Revolution, his father instilled in him a sense of military duty. At the age of 17, Peter Hurd entered West Point. During his first year, he purchased a set of oil colors and began decorating the envelopes of the letters that he sent home. Hurd began to realize that painting was an exciting and infinite world. Hurd left West Point and later enrolled at the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts. For the next 6 years, he served as an apprentice under the renowned artist N.C. Wyeth. In 1929, Hurd married N.C. Wyeth's daughter Henrietta, and they honeymooned in Hurd's beloved New Mexico. 5 years later, they purchased a ranch in San Patricio, New Mexico, where they eventually settled. Through the 1930s, Hurd gained recognition from the murals he painted in post offices in Texas and New Mexico. Soon after the start of World War II, Hurd was hired to document the war from an artist's perspective. For his first commission, he spent 4 months with the 8th Air Force at Remington Aerodrome in England. In addition to documenting daily life, Hurd flew numerous missions with the airmen. He shared the emotions of their tragedies and triumphs. Life magazine devoted 17 pages to Hurd's paintings in 4 different issues in 1943. From portraits of airmen to the point of view of a B-17 waist gunner, Hurd captured the stark realities of war with an intimate knowledge. In January of 1944, Hurd embarked on his second commission for Life magazine. Over the next 6 months, he would travel over 60,000 miles with the Air Transport Command, touching down in 21 countries on 5 continents. In stark contrast to the tension of his first assignment in England, Hurd was able to travel freely and document the war as it spread throughout the Southern Hemisphere. Among his many subjects, he sketched native islanders in the Pacific, airfields in Africa, and the U.S. landing strip on Ascension Island in the South Atlantic. Life magazine published 23 of Hurd's sketches on June 19, 1944. After the war, Hurd resumed the daily routine of sketching and painting life on his ranch. He would travel on horseback, occasionally stopping to paint or sketch a scene that interested him. In 1952, Hurd embarked on an epic project to create a fresco painting inside the rotunda of the administration building at Texas Technological College in Lubbock. The project, which took 2 years to complete, documents the history of settlement in the Lubbock area. In 1966, Hurd was commissioned to paint the official portrait of President Lyndon Johnson, which now hangs in the National Portrait Gallery in Washington, D.C. Hurd had plenty of work for his entire life following World War II. His work appears in more than 40 of the finest museums in the country. When Hurd died on July 9, 1984, he left an invaluable volume of work.
I have no possible knowledge, nor does anyone else for sure, how he'll be regarded after his death. But regardless of that, I do feel that one thing they will probably say, well, that's the way it used to be. I may not be regarded as a great artist or one of any real concern, but I do feel that I record things that perhaps even the camera doesn't go after, which will remind people of the past as, someone who lived in this period, as simply as that.